So Warhaven has just come out, and we're pretty early on figuring out which classes fit where, or which soldiers should you pick. And the short answer is, well, it depends.
Bro, what are you talking about?
With the variety of characters you can choose, it makes sense that there is a right and wrong way to approach this, but more often than not, you can make a better decision once you know what you are playing with. So let's go over each of the soldiers, and hopefully you'll get a better understanding and know where to apply a specific soldier. Now, just as a note, when you pick your soldier at the beginning of any match, you can change the soldier throughout the match, and I highly encourage that you do. If you find that you're not getting as much effectiveness playing as Spike, perhaps switching to Blade, or if your team is lacking a healer, then switch over to Smoke. The idea here is being as versatile as possible to make sure that you, well, can get a win. First, there is Blade. Blade is an excellent duelist with horizontal and vertical slashes, as well as the Ox Rush slash. This can knock up enemies and stun them for a bit of free damage. Now also remember, knocked up enemies can also take more damage, so pay attention to that. Now, more importantly, the Hilt Bash is going to be a fantastic dueling tool here, as it can get some free damage as well as breaking the guard of your enemy, allowing you to get a free strike. Landing this will be pivotal in your 1v1s on a side node or perhaps off a single enemy, but always keep in mind that you do have some minor distance against everything aside from maybe Spike. And don't forget, as you are running into combat, you can also use a charging slash that will put enemies off the mark as soon as the fight starts. Next is Spike. Spike is an excellent point defense class, able to keep enemies at bay and at a distance with little effort. She works perfectly in narrow hallways or corridors or bridges where horizontal slashes can't really be as effective. And if done correctly, Spike can stall many enemies at once. Even with their charged spear, she can cover some great distance, as well as being able to catch enemies off guard. Out in the open, however, Spike tends to lose that advantage as she is now vulnerable from multiple different directions. And with light blocking capabilities, she can be easily overwhelmed. Another great place to fight is the stairs. Stairs provide not only a narrow corridor, but if you're attacking down, you can pierce helmets and get headshots, which will nearly one-shot other players. Remember to keep the fight in front of you. Warhammer is a fantastic brawler, and in 2 swings can change the entire outcome of a team fight. Warhammer, of course, works best when he has support, but of course some great dueling capabilities with his head bash. The problem being is the slow heaving attacks that can leave him vulnerable to other attacks, so working in a collaborative effort or flanking an enemy with a massive swing can easily make a team fight one-sided. The big brutal swings can nearly one-shot most other soldiers, not to mention charging their hammer swing for the right time that can devastate multiple enemies at once. Great in groups. The Guardian is exactly what you would want in a tank. Disruptive, lots of blocking, defensive capabilities, the whole lot. The Guardian is an excellent point holder as well as a pusher. Because the shield can provide a knock-up and any type of follow-up coming from allies could be to your absolute benefit. The Guardian also has excessive blocking and shields, allowing him to take a brutal amount of damage before he breaks his guard. Even against enemies such as Spike, who has a very long range, the Guardian can hold their defense pretty well. Paired with the healer Smoke, you can seriously provide a durable tandem amount of pressure, whether it's holding points or pressuring side nodes. Not to mention that big body frame and shield make it tough for any enemies to break through. Hush is an excellent duelist and excels at isolating and overwhelming enemies. Now, she does require some patience and timing as she is very fragile, but if executed well, she can outduel many opponents or assassinate any enemy before they have a chance to fight back. Her focus bar allows you to match up and calculate your attacks while using the evasiveness to keep yourself alive. Look to challenge enemies solo or disrupt groups of distracted enemies to get an elimination before they knew what hit them. Excellent flanker and of course an excellent duelist. Lastly, Smoke, the only healer. I won't say that that's the only support because I kind of feel that the Guardian fits this role. Smoke, of course, works best when with friends, as well as Smoke is able to heal and support allies, keeping them up for longer to deal with said enemies. Now, even more important is working on point defense because they can knock back enemies with their abilities. Having said that, Smoke is very fragile, and being able to be chunked very quickly, so positioning is key here. Smoke can also apply a bit of deception, creating an effigy that walks forward and allows the smoke to reappear where that effigy is, with some health regeneration. Remember that you are strongest when you are with your allies. Now, this is a baseline description of all the soldiers, but overall you can do well with a number of other positions and types of fights. So if you play it correctly, just about every class, every soldier can be done well in many different situations. Even though Blade may be a good duelist, if played improperly, Warhammer can absolutely devastate him, and vice versa. So play with each class to get a better feel of what you like and the way that you want to play. As you level your profile, you'll be able to choose specific perks that allow you to customize your build even further. You might be able to change the way that each one of the classes plays to make them a little bit more versatile in duels, or perhaps being better when bolstered by allies. So take some time and review some of the perks, and perhaps you can make a unique build that kind of changes the script of what the class should be. Also, don't be afraid to coordinate with your allies. You'll be able to see what they are choosing as the match is about to begin. So if you see that there's no healer, then maybe join as a healer. Or perhaps there's no guardian. Don't be afraid to be a guardian. If you want to see my first impressions of Warhaven, click on this video here. Stay caffeinated, folks.